What do you make of the rest of the 140-pound division? If we assume that Devin Haney's not staying long and he's going to move up, what chances do you give Jack Catterall of unifying the division, mate? Being another
Every chance. Danny, I think Jack can beat any of them. I say that honestly. I believe Jack can beat any of them. Jack has the style to beat any of them. Jack's a fantastic fighter. And listen, I know like it's all ifs, buts, and maybes, but Jack should be undisputed champion. He should be. He should be undisputed champion, and that's the reason why this fight's will be a big sell.
What will it mean to you, especially given how it went in the first fight with Taylor? When Jack does win that world title, what will it mean to you personally?
Special, because I've got quite a close relationship with Jack. It will be my greatest like night in boxing.
Wow. Well, let's fingers crossed it comes together. When do you expect to know one way or the other regarding the Taylor fight?
We'll know within the next 7 days, because listen, Jack's going to be in camp now, so the fight will take place, I don't know, back end of Feb, early March. Jack's in camp now, so let's see what happens. It's over to Eddie to sharpen his pencil. Josh has got to be realistic, and listen, let's put it to bed. Let's get this fight on.
Talking about Eddie and his pencil, no euphemism there. There's been a lot of talk about Ben and Eubank, and we've discussed it a number of times in the past.
I'm bored of hearing about it, if I'm honest, Danny. Honestly, I'm so sick. Me and you have done about 300 interviews on Ben Eubank. I'm so sick to have to talk about it. Like I know I'm butting in before you even asked me the question. I really want to see the fight just because I'm intrigued by it. But my God, like some of the numbers I'm hearing branded for this fight, Eubank's insane not to take this fight. If the fight doesn't happen, it's bonkers because of the I know the numbers that's being offered to Eubank. Mental money.
Do you think Eubank's maybe trying to leverage the whole situation with the board of control to get more money?
No. So basically, Eubank's in a position where, look, it's widely regarded. The situation's not ideal, right? Conor Benn's in a position where what fight can Matchroom deliver Conor Benn? Like the Kell Brook fight, that can happen, but that's in the summer.
Yeah.
It's a long way off. Do you know what I mean? Like Conor what fights are there at welterweight? I mean, listen, I know that they're in talks to sign Jaron Ennis. That's a great fight, but there's no fight bigger for Conor Benn than Eubank, but vice versa. Let's be truthful. Who can Eubank fight that's going to generate that type of money? There's a Billy Joe Saunders rematch, but that's like, again, later in the year, but it's not as big as the Conor Benn fight. Who's he going to fight? Janabek? Nathan Heaney at Stoke? Eubank's insane as well. Like, he's got to get real, but I think he's got Matchroom, not by the balls, but he's thinking that you need me for this, but really, it's hilarious because he needs them as well. Because again, it's like this Taylor Catterall situation. I'm not saying it's as big as the Eubank Ben because it's clearly not, but it's still a massive domestic fight, Jack and Josh. But you need each other in these situations. But Eubank's obviously leveraging because he's thinking the board of control are not going to be involved. That's obvious. Look, if Conor Benn's going to fight in the UK, it's going to have to be something massive because the juice has to be worth the squeeze to go through all the hurdles. That's going to have to be. Listen, let's call a spade a spade. It's going to be a hard job, this fight. Do you know what I mean? They're going to have to get a different sanctioning body in. It's going to be awkward. So the juice is going to have to be worth the squeeze. And I think the Eubank Ben situation is worth the squeeze. It's going to be massive money. And everyone's going to be involved because, like what I just said about Jack and Josh, controversy sells. So it's a massive fight. I really hope it happens, but I'm not confident it will because if Eubank's even thinking about turning down the numbers I'm hearing that he's getting offered, Eubank must be a very wealthy young man.
He said controversy sells. Someone who's been quite controversial last week was Deontay Wilder. Didn't really hear much from him for a year or more since
What's he said now?
He was on the podcast The Last Stand with Brian Custer, and he said a number of things. He still insists that Fury's a massive cheat, and that's not news really at this point in his view. But I think the thing that got the most attention was his comments about Anthony Joshua. He said, first of all, that Anthony Joshua is a made fighter, a manufactured fighter. He accused Eddie Hearn and Matchroom of papering Joshua's crowds as well, of handing out complimentary tickets and then reselling them. So it looks like sellouts when they're not. He said that there's no way he thinks the AJ fight will actually come to fruition because he's the only profitable fighter in Eddie Hearn's stable currently, in Wilder's view, and they wouldn't risk that cash cow against someone like Wilder who's so powerful.
That might be, and I like Wilder, and I'd never say it to his face because he's scary, but that might be the biggest load of bollocks I've ever heard, ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's up there.
What a load of absolute bollocks. One, Tyson didn't cheat. Like, he just didn't cheat. He just filled him in. Let's be honest. Tyson beat him up. Take it on the chin, literally. You lost 3 times. You've lost, mate. You've lost. Secondly, everybody knows, and like you will know this, getting hold of Anthony Joshua tickets prior to Hellenius, gold dust. They're gold dust. The Hellenius fight, yeah, there was spare seats there because originally people were paying money to see the Dillian White fight. That was a sellout. AJ is only profitable to Eddie Hearn now because of with the fights that he's going to be involved in. If he fought Tyson Fury, stadium sellout 3 times over. If he fights Wilder, probably the biggest fight in boxing. Definitely the most exciting, like, because it could be over in 10 seconds. Yeah, he's talking absolute bollocks.
I think on that last point, it was more that he feels AJ is the only profitable fighter in Matchroom. He's saying no one else is making Eddie Hearn any money.
Well,
I'm not saying that's true. That's equally bollocks, but that was his point.
Yeah, boxing swings in roundabouts, doesn't it? Like you have your stars, and then you have to rebuild stars. Like he's building that Pacheco guy who's selling well in Mexico. He's just sold out San Francisco with Devin Haney. Like Eddie's got a few fighters that make him money. Of course, I think boxing itself is going for a transitional period where the older guard is kind of coming towards the end. Your Golovkins, your Big Sells, Canelo Alvarez, he's not going to be around for much longer. Listen, I know this might be, but Canelo Alvarez, as big as he is, I'll add this. If he fights, I don't know, the Charlo brother next, I don't think that's a huge sell.
No.
That doesn't mean Canelo's not a huge star, but it's like, that's not the fight we want to see. We want to see him fight Benavidez. It's like if Anthony Joshua boxes Ruiz in the 3rd fight, I think it would sell out the O2, but is it a stadium fight? No. But if he boxed Wilder, it is a stadium sellout. Do you understand what I mean? Like I think boxing's changing a lot at the moment. Like people, that's why I think matchmaking's becoming harder. Fights are becoming more, they're going to know they have to become more competitive because we have to switch people. I'm kind of going around I'm kind of gone off subject there, but I know what I mean. But this is what I mean. If Wilder boxes Joe Parker in, I don't know, in New York, that's not a sellout.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Wilder's a big draw, but I'm saying, but if you box Tyson Fury in the 4th fight, it's a big sell because people know it's exciting. But if you box AJ, then it's enormous anywhere in the world. You need, like, listen, yeah. But going round to it, I like Deontay Wilder, genuinely. Like, he's must-watch TV, but that is the biggest load of bollocks I've ever heard.